Smith coming out, charging. Good pull there by Smith. Good wrap arm, hip pull by Munoz. There's some big 70 kilos, that's for sure. 71, excuse me.
Had Smith both matches today. He's come out. He's been very aggressive, hand fighting early. Fell behind 4-0 in his first match of the day before coming back.
Good pull again there by Munoz. So he's stepping that left foot in the center and pivoting real hard, getting Pat Smith off balance a little bit. Just enough to get that head to dip so he can cover it. Remember, you don't have to get his hands to the mat every single time, especially in Greco. It's really difficult to get a guy's hands to the mat considering that he's going to be standing much more upright. So the idea is just to get his head down a little bit, just enough to cover it. That'll do it. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Passivity call for Smith in the first minute of the bout. Now, Blue is being encouraged to be a little bit more active. Good pivot again by Smith. Be careful on the edge there. Pushing is not always a great idea.
And the passivity call goes against Munoz. One apiece, Greco-Roman. You get a choice to put him in force parterre on the second one, so both guys will have that option if they're able to force a passivity call on the opponent.
I think that a passivity call is coming here pretty soon. They're going to put somebody down. We're 2 minutes into the first period. We don't have a score yet. So considering that Red has his head down, they're probably going to call him. Right. So second passivity puts Munoz on top. And we'll have a whistle start in parterre.
And I've seen countless bouts today be scoreless 2 minutes in. One guy gets a crack on top. The match is over 15 seconds later.
For sure. Yeah. He's got a high gut locked up. Pulls it down to the hip. He's going to go lift. No. Loses the lock.
A good defense by Smith.
You know, for me, having yesterday called the entire men's freestyle tournament and watched Coach Burnett, it's not, and I'm not saying it in a derogatory way, but there's just, Coach Lindland in the corner is much more vocal. He's much more passionate. And you can tell that both of them really, really want their programs to succeed, obviously. But it's interesting to see the direction that Greco is going, and as the catalyst being Matt Lindland. So that'll do it for the first. 0-0 is the score. And Smith getting some words of advice from Lindland.
And you got to think, usually they pass, unless somebody is obviously being the aggressor, they pass the passivities back and forth.
Right.
And so it's something to watch, and they're normally pretty quick with it in the second period. If Smith can get his chance on top early in the second period, advantageous to do it quickly. Whenever the guy comes out, he's dried off, just towed off.
Considering that it's about 40 below zero in this building, I don't think sweat is that big of an issue. However, you are right. It is nice to get them dry. So we're going to go cross arm to a drag there for the red wrestler, Smith from the United States. He's lowering his shoulder a little bit, and they're going to call passivity, like you said.
Quickly confirmed, and they're actually letting this sequence play out.
Yeah.
Now he
That's a
blows
good
whistle.
idea too. See, I like that.
Yep.
I saw that a bunch earlier in the day where they saw that one wrestler was being a little bit more passive than the other, and they stopped action in the name of starting it. Okay, so yeah, good job by the officiating crew. And he's got a high gut locked up, and he's going to move it down to the mid-level, right on the rib cage, and gets stepped over there, elbow picked for 2 points, does Smith. So it'll be 2-0 Munoz, 2 minutes left in the bout.
And throughout the day watching the action, I haven't seen a whole lot of guts as opposed to lifts.
Is that right?
Lifts, I think, have had a much higher percentage, 1 success rate and 2 attempts. Guys are going for that lift.
Well,
you got the reward of the 4-pointer.
I think it's also if you miss the lift, if you miss the side lift or the straight lift, and you're still awarded 2 points. So it's a little bit more of a gamble, and that will be a 2-point defensive feet to back for the American wrestler Smith, and he's going to go lift just like we talked about. He said he had enough about that gut stuff, so he's going to step a foot in, lift, and drive a little bit.
Almost that elbow.
Cross elbow pick, yeah. That takes that looks like such an easy technique. That takes a level of athletic ability that is far beyond me. I can tell you that much.
And those of you thinking feet to back exposure should be 4, when it's the other guy's move taking the action to his back, you are only rewarded the 2 as the defensive wrestler there.
This is another thing that I spoke a little bit to Coach Lindland about earlier in the day, and he said when guys are in a position to win bouts, meaning they're leading by either 1 point or 2, with short time, meaning less than, I don't know, let's say a minute and change left. Oh, there's a front headlock. There's a duck under attempt there by Munoz. Smith does a good job of countering. They need to keep wrestling. Now, we saw earlier in the day, there was a couple of the American wrestlers that got a little bit of a lead late in the match and tried to sit on it and wound up paying dearly for it. Smith underhook attempt on the left-hand side. Munoz doing a good job of trying to push in. He's 10 seconds away from a gold medal in the Pan Ams. 4 seconds now.
And it's almost odd that Munoz realized he was losing there, that his corner was kind of going crazy. And obviously his reaction now, he knew, but he didn't take any risk. Kind of an odd bout that both guys, whenever they took their risk, they gave up the points. Smith going for that gut wrench, gets stepped over, and then